And the whole idea is that songs can take you to 0 to 100 in 15 seconds. I only played 15 seconds. That was it. So the whole idea is that songs are therapeutic and magical and amazing, and they help us and they can be healing because it can happen so quickly. There is literally 0 defenses do we have towards songs. The only thing that you could have done to not have emotional experience was to close your ears or walk out of the room. We have no resistance to songs. It's a recovery situation, then you have your goals, it's relapse prevention, interpersonal skills, being able to emotionally regulate, those kinds of things. The songwriting comes in as a way to facilitate those goals. And it documents the determination to change, right? So it puts it on paper, it makes it real. It's not this theory, it's like, this is what my goal is, this is where I'm at, and it makes it real. Y'all are so prolific, right? Whole lyrics. Normally it's just one word or an idea, but positivity, all right. I'm planting my seeds of dignity. I'm watering my seeds. I'm sprouting inspiration. That's what you say. See my garden grow. See my garden grow. I feel the earth beneath my feet. Feel the earth beneath my feet. Nice. My heart is flying free. My heart is flying free. And life is good. Life is good. One more time. The first thing that happens when people come into my groups typically is they're already in their heads. So what this does is it brings the energy down from the head and it brings it into the heart space. It brings you into the feeling center. And then when you start to sing, I mean, how did you feel when you were singing? Changes everything, right? If you had a little thing and where you could actually look at the molecules in this room, you would see that the molecules in this room have changed. Because the vibration of human voices together, it raises the vibration in the room. So when that happens, you automatically pop out of your head and you drop down into your body. You've got certain people that emerge naturally from the group process who are the songwriters, right? They're the ones who can hear and sense and say, put that word there. Let me tell you something so cool. Most of the time, it's the most quiet person in the room. It's the person who's not necessarily seeming like they want to express, but they come forward in that moment because their mind is working in that way already. So the other great thing about songwriting is you get to see who's in the room. You get to have every single person in that group, even the ones who are normally or typically resistant, begin to emerge and step into these roles. Plus, this is also helping with the emotional regulation piece, because remember, at the end of the day, or at least at the beginning of the presentation, we talked about music being that language of emotions. So now we're taking the lyrics and we're saying, okay, so now that we have these lyrics, what is the emotion that's underlying this? What is the emotion we want to portray? What is the emotion that we are feeling when we wrote this that we want to validate? And then how does that translate into the music? The validation from creating something that was aesthetically beautiful and pleasing. Because there's one thing to write a song and to record a song, but anybody who's an artist in here, or even if you're not, you know that there's a difference from when you hear yourself, right? It's one thing for you to perform it, but then when you hear yourself, that's a whole nother validation. But isn't it a very pleasant way of dealing with your emotions?
Yeah.
That's the other piece of this, is that it's not invasive. It's not like, I'm gonna freak you out and traumatize you, like, no, I can play Purple Rain, and if I had let the whole song play, we would have all been in tears, like, at some point,
You feel safe, right?
Right.
You feel safe.
Yeah.
Rather than guarded if you're in a group.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that then creates a brand new neural pathway in the brain that says it is safe for me to feel. And that right there is revolutionary for recovery. It's safe for me to feel. I can feel my feelings in a safe way. And not only that, I can move through them, and that I can actually learn how to emotionally regulate, like actually feel them and keep going. That's a game changer. So I think there's a case for music therapy for that goal alone. If you feel triggered by a song, anyone, connect with me, connect with someone in the group, make sure, because I'm not over here just blissed out saying, all songs make you feel good. Songs carry a lot of energy, so they can also trigger. So whenever we do this kind of a thing in therapeutic context, that's always a disclaimer. Like, songs are going to make you feel different. They're not prescriptive. I chose a couple general ones like Purple Rain, I figured, but I'm sure there are a couple of them that not everybody had an emotion reaction to, because that's also the beauty, is that it's not a prescription thing. I can't say, I'm a music therapist, here's this song, listen to this, you're going to feel better and call me in the morning. No, because it's going to be different for everybody, and that's also.
My wife hates my playlist.
See, there's an example. And how a lot of times our music is wrapped up in that level of isolation, and so therein lies the task that I oftentimes run into, which is when I have artists and musicians that are in groups in treatment centers who have a history of being, musicians but are in recovery, and the addiction is wrapped up, entangled with the recovery, and how to begin to pull that apart, which just takes time. It takes time and support and encouragement. But part of another reason why the music therapy group is so therapeutic, not just for musicians but for all people, is because of that key point. It creates connection, instant connection. And I call addiction separation sickness, because it makes me believe that I am separate from you, from God, from the universe, from myself, and from everything else. So the way that I can create a healing and to heal that illusion of separation, because it's not true, it's actually a lie, is to begin to involve myself in connection with other people, right? To be in fellowship, to be able to be in community.